Kieran, favorite Muay Thai fighter?
Current or past? Any?
Yeah, let's do two. Let's do two.
Okay.
Current and then past.
Past was Samkor. Even though I'm not left-handed, still my favorite. And I have fond memories of watching some of the old videos of him going to Japan and just like left kicking them out of all these poor Japanese boys. That would be past. Current. I don't know.
Okay, that's
I'm
okay.
not sure.
What favorite Muay Thai fight?
Favorite Muay Thai fight?
Or, something that comes off the top of your head.
Okay, it's not a Muay Thai fight, but some of the fights that I always enjoyed was when Borkow was in his heyday in K1 Max, and some of the fights that he had with guys like Andy Sauer and Masato, and I think there was one in particular. They had 2 extension rounds, and it was like 5 rounds of going non-stop. It's not, I love Muay Thai, but I grew up in that era of watching K1 Max, and I used to really enjoy it too. And Masato was one of my favorite kickboxers, one of my favorite fighters too, and so that one always springs to mind. Yeah,
that was like 2005ish.
Yeah, or there was maybe that span of like 3 or 4 years when Masato, Albert Kraus, Andy Sauer, those guys was a really cool era to watch. Yeah. It was like the peak of Japanese kickboxing.
For sure. Favorite Muay Thai technique?
Would be body kick.
Most underrated type of training?
The most underrated type of training?
Yeah.
The most underrated type of training, okay, it's definitely not using altitude masks. It's definitely not using bands. The most underrated, I think, when it comes to fighters looking at it is either solo shadow boxing or bag work.
Okay, favorite Thai food?
Kanamuko.
Oh, don't you have that as a okay, and then favorite Muay Thai promotion?
I'm going to say RWS.
Okay.
Let's go, boys. Let's go.
Let's go. And you are obviously out here for Gabrielle's RWS fight. You were here last week with Davina's. This will come out in a couple weeks, but you've been coming out a lot to RWS. Why do you like it so much? What do you think? And you have a decent amount of experience with one and a lot of the other shows, both in Australia and internationally. Why do you think RWS is good?
I like RWS because it's a blend between sort of traditional roots of Muay Thai, being the fact that it's in Rajadamnern, crossed with like the entertainment aspect. Obviously, if you're not fighting for a title, you only get to do the 3 rounds, but you still have good referees, good judges, and a really good atmosphere too. The boxers get to be out the back in Rajadamnern Stadium, which is quite unique experience for a lot of them. But then on the flip side, you have some of these modern things like open scoring and the more entertainment aspect of it. And so it's the blend of those two, which is the thing that I enjoy the most. And I think it's the easiest way not the easiest way, but it's a way that some of the higher level boxers who are good fighters can get experience there, who perhaps wouldn't perform as well on the gambling circuit because they're not used to that style of fighting yet.
Yeah, that makes sense. So some of those fighters that are on the more gambling side would be someone like Max McVicker, who you've worked with, and he did RWS as well.
Correct, yeah.
You've been with him for both? Or he did...
all of his fights. All of his fights on RWS were under Muay U.
And so what was that like then, seeing him transition from RWS and entertainment to the gambling side?
I mean, the thing about Max is he loves Muay Thai and he has a really good brain for Muay Thai. It got to a point where for him, he needed to live over here because really in Australia, in a lot of the West, there weren't many opponents for him left. And as opposed to just going back and forth between Thailand, he could just stay over here in Thailand. And for him, the gambling circuit is it's another box to tick in his legacy, so to speak. You know, it's another box for him to tick that he can tell people when he's old, or he can take that experience back. And out of all of the places that he could have been and stayed, him being with Leo is a great choice, because Leo obviously understands how to train foreigners, but then similarly he understands he is a foreign trainer in Thailand who probably is the best at understanding that system as a foreign trainer in Thailand. And so that's like the perfect place for him to be, and he'll make his mark in that and then probably come back to Australia or do whatever is next for him, because he's still only young. He's early 20s, right?
Yeah, he was. I got so mad at him like a week or maybe a month ago. He was at World CM.
Yes.
Because Jaleel was fighting, and the next day he was, and he was like, "Oh, when I retire," I'm like, "You are 21 years old. You do not get to talk about retiring until you're at least 30."
The thing with Maxi though is he's been doing it since he was 6. It's like it's like we talk about Thai fighters being old or getting old, and even the gamblers or the commentators over here will, and it's our equivalent of young sometimes. You get guys who are 26, 27. I mean, you've got an outlier like Kongjak being 39 who fought for the title last weekend, who may as well have been 97 based on the way they were talking about it. But for him, yes, but you take someone in the West who started at 18 as the equivalent and then goes for 20 years like here. Yeah, it's you know, but he's got plenty of years left.
Yeah,
he can't.
Especially with the way things are shaped now, in terms of you can control the amount of fights you are having, strength and conditioning, all that sort of stuff. So 2 things. One is you talked about the boxes he wanted to tick off. What about the boxes you want to tick off? Because I would say, as a coach and trainer, you've accomplished a decent amount. I know that a lot, I've talked to you off camera before, and you just want to give opportunities to your athletes, but are there specific goals, or what would be the next step?
I think about some of the things that, like, I think as a coach and as a trainer, I've ticked a hell of a lot of boxes, more than I think a lot would, in the sense of like one championship, RWS, fighters at Lumpini, Rajadamnern, all over the world. I can name all the different countries that I've been to,
Japan.
Japan for kickboxing, England, America, Mexico, all of these places that I've been.
Was Eddie versus David.
Mexico was Davina versus Cynthia Flores, who fought and won the other month. You had, anyway, so I've been in a lot of places. One of the next one for me was to promote a show in Thailand, which I'm doing in October.
Oh,
find out about that with another friend of ours. You'll find out about that.
That's
a cool
exciting
one. So that was one. So I get to tick that box, mainly because when you grow up in Muay Thai and you look at all the old school posters of the promoters wearing the suits on the poster with the boxes.
Is that going to be?
I'm gonna get my suit out, man. To my top up.
No, you should get like a regular just headshot, and then they Photoshop the suit onto you.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Like, and maybe slightly lopsided.
Yeah. So maybe a bow tie instead of a tie. So that is one box that I get to tick in October. I think there's a few. There's another one is probably to have. I'm still yet to have a boxer fight at Rangsit. So that would be another one. I'm still yet to have a boxer there.
I feel like that one might be a little difficult because there's not a lot of activity.
Correct. Yeah.
Maybe so in October?
No, not there. No, not there. So that was another one. I think there's some other.
Oh, Amnoy. Have you done Amnoy?
And I've not done Amnoy either. So they're probably the 2 big ones that I would like to do as a trainer. Outside of that, I mean, I feel like I've achieved so much, and I've had guys and girls go so far that I feel not content. I mean, I am content. Every day I'm content and happy with what I've achieved, and I just keep trying to do more and build more and grow, and that's that.
It makes sense. But the second thing was we talked a little bit about Maxie coming over here permanently because of lack of opponents. And I know that's something that happens with Gabrielle and with Davina as well, and even Diandra to some extent. But I would say, well, Davina stays because of the government job making fences. But
no one's going to understand that joke. Carry on.
But tell me a little bit about like what are some of the pros and cons of like this situation now with staying versus coming over here long term. Because like Gabrielle, like, you know, you can make an argument like, Gabrielle, maybe you should just stay in Thailand and rack up the experience here.
Yeah, I think the pros of staying back home are things like having your network around you, being able to hold a consistent and steady job which allows you to do what you're doing for longer term. I think the cons of staying home is exactly that, maybe having less opponents. However, if you have access to like a network of sponsors or otherwise, you know, you can to help you fund your travel to get over, well then that starts to become less of an issue. And you can look at it in my opinion, at two ways. You have someone like Gabrielle who has such an established profile that I'm not sure she needs to churn out fights against low-level girls all the time. She can not be picky. Like at the end of the day, she's not had 100 fights, but she has a bit more liberty to come back and forth with a bit more time in between. I would love her to fight every month, but there's a reality to it too, right? But on the flip side of it, it's like, well, if you've got, you know, I've got some guys who will probably come over here next year who have had maybe 15 fights, and it's like, yeah, go over, because you can crank out some experience and come back with another 5 or 6 fights. And
so someone like Brock,
someone like Jerome, someone like these guys who are that sort of back home are like that mid-level pro working their way up, lower level pro on like an international stage and are starting to like build up and up.
So they'd be on like roots level.
I mean, Roots and Rebellion. I mean, Brocky has fought on Rebellion. Brocky has fought on Rebellion, and Jerome's, you know, I think they're both building up that way. But as you know, the quality of Muay Thai in Australia is great too, and so they can come to Thailand, easily fit in. They're trained well. They understand how Muay Thai works, whether it's 5 or 3 rounds, and they can fit straight in and start training and focus on developing, and they can do what they don't get to do back home, which is not have to worry about work, not have to worry about school or whatever it might be. And people ask, well, I think it's not always that they're in Thailand that means they get better. It is, but it's not. It's that they just get to focus on training and they don't have to worry about anything else.
And then Australia, I think, definitely has a high level of Muay Thai. Can you tell me a little bit about the current landscape of the sport in Australia? What are some of the major promotions? What would you say is going on?
Australia has a strong Muay Thai scene. We are so close to Thailand. We have a pretty large like migrant Thai population.
You have two Thai
trainers, yeah. A lot of gyms have Thai trainers now as well. A lot of the foreign trainers have been coming to Thailand and living in Thailand for so long that they've all developed such great skill as well. For a lot of them, they know how Muay Thai works, and we understand Thai boxing, and we can teach it sometimes better than certain Thai trainers can, not because we are better, but because we can explain it better. And so in Australia, that's quite prevalent, and you see it when you watch our promotions and you watch our fights. Even our amateur days, man, if I was to take me as a one fight amateur and my skill set back then and apply it to now, I'm getting whooped, man. Like, our amis are good nowadays. Yeah, like our amis are good, man. And as far as we have a great amateur, there's a really good amateur system started that has been created in places like Victoria and New South Wales, and you see that starting to build through to the pro promotions, and you see the likes of like the Roots and like in Melbourne, you got the Roots and Rebellions, you got Hardcore, you got Warriors Way that's come back. In the Sydneys, you've got 1774. When Andy was running Siam to Sydney, you had that. You go over to Perth, you got Gavin Fuller's shows, you got Darius's shows, you go up to Queensland, Nakia Wright's doing a great job with MTL. There's heaps of shows going on up there as well. And so the country is awash with great opportunities for fights. I think lately, as a trainer and a manager, it's been hard to match those lower level pro guys like I'd mentioned before. You know, for us in Australia, we have 3, 4, 5 amateur fights and then you just fight pro.
Right.
Because the quality is good. But that level, we're just kind of missing a little bit. I think we need to build that up a bit more, but that's just coming with time.
So like that low level pro is a bit hard. That would be something like CM to Sydney, like the top level pro card.
It's just getting hard to match, you know. Sometimes it's like if you got boxers, sometimes it's getting hard to match. Yeah.
And then let's go back and talk a little bit about the gym itself. You've had Muay U
since 2018.
So 7 years.
Quick maths, yeah. in September. September, 7 years.
It is in the lonely, dusty town of Canberra.
Correct. Right on the edge between Canberra and Queanbeyan.
Yep. Which, for those of you out there in TV land, is in the middle of. Sounds like nowhere.
Yeah, sure.
but why did you start the gym there? And then can you tell me a little bit about the gym history itself?
I mean, I started the gym because I've done Muay Thai or kickboxing and combat sports since I was young, and I loved it, and it was all I wanted to do for a very long time. And then I fought up to a certain point, couldn't fight anymore, started being a coach and trainer, trained up to a particular point, developed my own style and skill of training and coaching, decided then that I wanted to run my own gym, as you do, opened it in 2018 off the back of, you know, I've always done Muay Thai, but I've worked in roles, in like commercial white collar roles, which helped open a gym, and I've done that ever since. Started in 2018 and here we are in 2025 and
still going,
man.
And I think that's one of the interesting things about your background is you were working with a professional rugby team, correct? Looking for sponsorships?
Yeah. Yep.
So how, and I know you're a big fan of American sports, like football, this kind.
Throw the pigskin, brother.
The real kind of football. How, and I know you've talked about this elsewhere, but for those of you out there in TV land that have not heard, can you tell me a little bit about how the background with the rugby team and maybe some of the influence of the American sports world influenced Muay U?
The American sports world, the U comes from the like the way that they do it with college teams in the United States, which is the U stands for university, and so it is just referred to. It's not Muay University, but we just call it Muay U. And I love the fanfare around college sports in America, and I love that people who go to a college are a fan of that team until the day that they die. And I like to see that in combat sports like ours, and that was the idea or the premise behind starting Muay U, was you feel like you're a part of a team or a part of a club, and especially when it comes to the fighting side of Muay Thai, even though you train Muay Thai for fitness and you'll never fight, I want you to feel like you have a relationship with the fighters and you can support them and be alongside them, and that was the main reason for that. All of my, sorry, go.
Have you seen that so far? Because 7 years, you have to have alumni now, basically.
For sure, yeah.
You know, I would say your LTV for a average student, maybe 2-3 years is like good, very good. 4 or 5 is like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, we've got alumni for sure, in the sense of, we have people who are no longer members but still support us because they've moved away. We get guys and they come to the fight shows and support. I've had it happen internationally too, which is really cool. I've been amazed at the places that the name of the gym has reached when people have been wearing our clothing or our shorts and people have come up to them. I had a member who sent me an email and he was in Borneo in Malaysia.
Oh, Malaysia. Wow.
Had someone be like, oh, you train at Muay U, like, that's really cool to hear, man. We have it, like, I hear people from New York, this, and that's obviously due to guys and girls like Gabrielle, like Davey, like Max, like Diandra, like Davina, who get seen on these bigger platforms. And
And then going back a little bit, we talked briefly about how the white collar stuff influenced the gym as well, because Muay U is one of the more commercially successful gyms in my experience in Australia. We went on the recent Amazing Muay Thai Festival tour to Perth. Tons of gyms out there. Some of them commercially good, some of them a bit not. In my experience in general, a lot of the gyms in Australia are more hobbies than they are successful businesses. So would you say your experience in the white collar world of working with rugby helped you make it a successful business? And tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, not just the rugby. I mean, all of the white collar roles that I had helped. And you got to make money, man. That's the reality. And it doesn't mean that you have to give up your ideals. It doesn't mean that you have to give up. You don't have to sacrifice, quality or whatever. Don't get me wrong. If I could have a 600 square meter facility and train 29 fighters and have 15 pad holders, I'm doing it, man. But the reality is I can't. And so I have to run a business, because my business pays for the ability to have more trainers and more coaches, and whether that's to help me with my fighters or my general students, or it's to help me come over here, because I know that the gym is being looked after and taken care of. And so yes, those roles helped me because I've learned a lot of skills along the way, but then I've learned a lot of skills since, just through trial and error.
What are some of the skills you learned that transferred over, and what were some of the missing skills that you learned along the way?
Some of the skills that I learned transferring over is simple things like how to communicate, how to be analytical, how to break things down. I grew up in a house where, it was a single parent household with just my mum, but she, being a journalist, was always made me be inquisitive and made me be, really think things through. And I think that absolutely helped. And then to have some of these jobs helped even more. And so, things like being analytical. As far as what didn't I know, it's stuff that I think a lot of people don't know before they open a gym, that's directly relevant to running a gym, in the sense of, well, you might not know how to run a gym management software. You might know how to run other softwares or have worked with others, but maybe not directly a gym one. Or there's things to do with contracts or legal. I've had legal things as well. There's some of that stuff which I guess you just learn by doing,
Do you feel like those skills were particularly difficult to acquire or sort of get over?
It's just by doing, man. I don't think it's difficult to acquire. You just do it. You have a choice, do it or don't, and learn or don't,
And then would you say a lot of the gym owners in Australia are doing that? Or, because in my experience, I would say they're not.
It's hard to say, man. I don't think I can say they are or they aren't. I'm lucky to be surrounded by some gym owners in Australia who are very switched on, and they do a great job and they're really good at that. I mean, I don't get to see anyone's day-to-day life, and so I don't know that. I absolutely know the gyms who are doing a really great job commercially, and I know the ones who aren't. But similarly, I think if you want to have a Muay Thai gym as a hobby, I don't see an issue with it. I think it's okay. But if you want a Muay Thai gym as a business, well, then you have to run it like a business. And I think people just need to be careful of complaining about the privilege of getting to have a business in what you love. Because yes, it's easy to complain, and I complain. Absolutely, man. You go through me, Cy and Andy's group chat, we're all complaining. But it's a privilege to complain about these things. It's a privilege to complain about the thing that you love, getting to do the thing that you love every day, day in, day out. And I think people should be mindful of what they're complaining about, because the reality is people don't owe you anything. Members don't owe you anything. You know, people can cancel. People can suspend. People don't give a fuck that you have to come in at 4 a.m. and clean. People don't care that you don't get to see your family on the weekend. That's the reality, man. It's not their job. It's not their job to care about the sacrifices that you had to make. You are making them because you are living this life. Just be mindful of that and be careful of complaining about these things. Oh, members don't know that. Yeah, of course they don't, man. It's not their job. Yeah. It's not their job to know that you're missing out on time with your family. If you want to spend more time with your family, then stop running your gym. Or find a way to make it happen. You can. But just be mindful of complaining about it, because it can weigh you down.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Look on the positive side.
It's always a good thing to do. One of the things that you've been doing a lot lately is cornering these international fights. Something you'll do tonight, something you did 2 weeks ago with Davina. Can you tell me a little bit about that experience, and maybe what separates the national to the international level in terms of cornering?
I love cornering because it's you have 1 or 2 minutes, depending, to manage a fight. Like it's a very short period of time to have an impact on a competition, and it can often be the difference between a boxer winning or losing. And I've had to go both ways. I've had plenty of times when I've had to go well. Sorry.
For instance, Davina.
Yes.
The last third final round was like that's what won the fight.
Yeah, and so there's things like that, right? It's like, well, I really enjoy that, and I've had it both ways. I've had times when I hope that I've had more times than not where it's been on the positive. But I know, man, I've had times and I've thought back and I'm like, fuck, I think that was the wrong thing. I think I said the wrong thing, or I think I made a mistake there. And that's just what happens, you know? And I think the difference is just your ability to communicate and get the right thing across for the situation that's at hand.
So let's talk maybe about 1 or 2 specific situations. So obviously Davina is a very easy one to talk about because it was recent. There's footage of it. So how did you manage that, and what was the cornering experience like for that?
So we had a talk before the fight about what to expect and what to do. We then went into the fight, had a great first round, gave her some instruction to do and what to keep doing. Second round, kind of didn't do it. Sort of did, sort of didn't. I gave her a few purposeful technical things which I think would have worked, and looking back on it, they still would have worked. She just wasn't able to execute it. She had the head clash, had the cut, a bit of an adrenaline dump from that. And the third round was a bit more emotional than it was technical, in the sense of it's like, you've got to go now. And I did give her some technical things in the way of, I don't know if that was the first or the end of the second, which was like, well, whatever she throws, you throw harder, and not as much as like, okay, throw this and then throw this, like, okay, kick harder, or if she kicks you, make sure you kick back. Simple things like that, plus emotion. It was like, it's time to fucking go. Get on your horse.
One of the interesting things I remember, because I also filmed this, was before we got to the stadium, she was telling a story where she was like, oh yeah, Kieran said, just a punch. I was winning the fight, but he just wanted this punch. and you're like, yeah, punch,
Yeah.
and Davina is doing everything but that.
About that.
Do you find that sort of situation happens a lot with athletes, or is it maybe specific to our special friend?
No,
Davina?
yeah, absolutely you can, man. I think sometimes it just depends. The thing with Davina was, and the thing with that fight was, in the sense, I think it was during the third round. Oh, it was at the end of the second round. I just leant on the ropes and I was like, look, you're winning, it's no problem. This girl's not going to beat you, it's okay. Let's practice some things. Can you throw a fucking straight punch? Can you stop throwing it overhand like an idiot? And she was like, yeah, okay, I'm right. And then during the fight was going on, the crowd wasn't that loud, you can hear me, and I'm like, Davina, can you just fucking punch straight? And she said to me after, she goes, I was. And then she watched back the video, she wasn't. So I think she thought she was doing it, but she wasn't, was the reality. But man, it happens sometimes, you know. Sometimes you might have a fighter who one of your other trainers holds pads for a bit more. So maybe they're not as used to hearing your voice. Sometimes the occasion can get to them. Sometimes the noise can get to, whatever it might be. It does happen, yeah.
One of the things that I feel like you will probably have experience with is when the athlete has a Thai trainer and then maybe you're the second person, or does that happen, and how does that sort of play out for you?
Yeah, kind of a little bit. I mean, I try to be present with my guys and girls even when they don't have, the way that we sort of break the training up is, yes, if in the lead up to a fight, you know, every fighter or boxer is assigned to a particular trainer when it comes to pads, but I'm still leading the session overall. So they still hear my voice all the time. And that still goes for when we're doing like some more specific like drilling or technique or sparring. I'm the one there for them, not their trainer or their pad holder. So that sort of, there's still me there. And that, so I still make sure that I have some sort of effect on them.
And then going back to Davina's fight in the third round, you had to make a more of an emotional play for her. How do you usually package that, or like, you know, you're not slapping the athlete? But
No, I'm not a slapper.
Not yet.
I've only slapped 2 people.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But how do you sort of get across that sense of urgency?
In my words. And so speak directly, and then it can just sometimes be using emotive language or just using specific direct language. It's easy to just go, it's easy to just scream like a madman. It's harder to be precise in what you say.
Is that a skill you practice then, or do you feel like...
It's a skill that I've developed over years, and I think I'm lucky to have had a mum that I have who was a journalist and was good with words and raised me in a particular way to speak a particular way.
And how would you say, because we're getting to see more cornermen talk and how they sort of communicate with their athletes, how would you say you differ from someone like Peasy?
It's hard to say. I mean, I really enjoy it. You know, some of the trainers that I enjoy listening to are guys like Peasy, are guys like Riddler and Peasy are 2 guys who have been around for such a long time and I think speak really well. It's actually hard because I've cornered across from Peasy, but I haven't cornered with Peasy before. I'd say if anything, maybe he and I have similarities in the way that we speak, because I've listened to some of his pre-fight talks before, and I'm not as big on the pre-fight speech, so to speak, but I think that he and I probably have similar language that we use.
You don't give the athlete a Chatri Sityodtong rousing speech. This is the biggest fight of your life. It's not really
my thing. Like, I like to give a positive... Everyone is different. And I don't try to use the same approach with everyone. If the time calls for it, I do. I'm not a massive like Chatri style speech person. It's just... Yeah, it's not so much my thing. I like to give positive words and I like to speak about them, about what's at hand. And there has definitely been times that I have done similar, but I just wouldn't say it's really my style, you know.
And speaking of that, you've been in the room for that sort of speech before. What sort of impact does it have on you?
Zero.
So probably one of the reasons you don't really use it?
It's not, you know, it's not to say, look, the man is good with words when he does those speeches, but it doesn't really resonate with me because I feel like as Australians we're a bit more laid back. One of my favourite monologues or speeches of all time is Al Pacino when he's talking about the game of inches. You know the one? Any given Sunday. Any given Sunday, Al Pacino. One of my favourite speeches of all time. I used to listen to that all the time. Really love it. For the Chatri one, I'm just not. It's not that I'm not a fan. I appreciate what he's doing, but it doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't get me fired up. Especially, but also, you hear the speech like 4 hours before you're fired. It's a long time for the adrenaline to last. So, you know, good on him, but it's not, for me personally, I'm sure others, it absolutely works. And I'm sure they find it inspiring, and I appreciate someone being able to deliver a speech like that. For me personally, it does nothing for me.
I think, you know, I would say cornering in these speeches is a lot about persuasion as well.
Correct.
And that's something that you, as a gym owner, you have to be good at. And as a manager, you know, I've seen you over the last weekend with the matchmaker. Brother, you know, you're trying to persuade him to get your athletes back on. What are some of the ways that you feel you use persuasion to get athletes or
I think
position things well?
It's responding to the different personalities of people. But you know, like these guys are my friends though.
Yeah.
Like I talk to them like they're my friends because they are my friends. And when I talk to them like that, like I'm just mucking around with my friends the way I would normally muck around with my friends. The good thing is they also match my guys.
Right.
I'm like, all right, come on, mate. When are you going to put him back on? What are you doing? Brother.
Yeah, brother.
You know, like, but I'm hanging out with my mates.
Right.
But when it comes to a lot of other promoters or matchmakers or opportunities where I don't know them, for me it's about responding to the personality of that person. If I need to speak professionally with them, I will. I'll turn professional Kieran on.
So I would say, was that something you had to use with one championship more?
Yes.
And what was that experience like? Because I feel like a lot of coaches and trainers have difficulties with it. You know, I won't say one championship specifically, but, you know, it would be hard not to say it.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of communication.
At the end of the day, it's business. And you have to treat it like a business transaction. And the higher the level of business, the different you have to communicate. There has to be a difference in your communication style. You can't talk to a matchmaker of one of the largest martial arts organizations in the world the same way you would to a guy who's matching your person to fight 3-2s in Punch Bowl or something. It's a shitty area of Sydney.
Is that where Andy lives?
No, he doesn't. No. Nah. He's anyway, he's in Eastwood. So
the neighboring village.
Yeah. So you can't talk the same way. It's a business transaction. You don't. This is probably a really bad analogy, but if you wanted to fit in to these places, you wouldn't order food at a Michelin star restaurant in Paris the same way you would at KFC in Punch Bowl. You know, like, there's a difference. That's a terrible analogy, but
are you trying to give Andy some like life advice about how he's ordering his food?
You have to be professional, and Muay Thai is still a business, and these things that we do this is all a business. You have to understand that, and relationships are business.
Yeah, 100%. One of the things that I think the business of the sport, at least in Australia, has grown and a bit different than anywhere else in the world. You've spent some time in America, which, you know, obviously as an American, I am like, America. But I do think that the American market is probably the most important one to tap. What do you think are the lessons Australia can give to the American sort of market?
That can give to the market?
Yeah.
I think the lessons that Australian Muay Thai can give to the market is probably our approach to fighting. And we are just like, all right, let's train, let's fight. Let's not build it up. Let's not be crazy about it. Let's not, you know, some of the things that I've seen in the States is, you know, having guys who've had 5 or 6 amateur fights or 1 pro fight and they're acting like it's fucking bigger than Ben-Hur, you know. It's this massive, and it's like, chill, man. Just fight. You got to crank it out. You're not that good. Relax. On the flip side of it, I think we can take some of the professionalism and the way that they deal with things, like the business side of things.
And then wrapping things up, is there anything you wanted to talk about that we didn't talk about?
I think, is there anything that I wanted to talk about that we didn't talk about? If I was to pick something, and I know this topic gets heated sometimes, it would be you talk about it a lot, it's sponsorship. I think the thing about sponsorship is there's 2 sides. There are people who hate that they want to build fighters into this, you know, like to get sponsorship and build your profile and do media and all that side. And then there's the others who do it. And my perspective is do either.
What do you mean? Can you clarify that?
If you don't want to build a profile,
yes,
don't.
Okay.
If you do.
Go for it.
That's it. I think that we get caught up in this, you have to or you don't have to. I disagree. Either do it or don't. It's completely up to you. And deal with whatever the repercussions are from either. That's completely it. But similarly, I'm not going to sit here and say you have to build your profile to get the biggest opportunities, because I have seen boxers who have had no profile, they're only known for their fighting ability, get amazing opportunities. I've also seen it on the flip side.
Yes.
My biggest message is, if you want to, do it. If you don't. And
don't be like in between.
Or don't say that you should or you shouldn't. Don't say, hey, you have to do this, or hey, you don't have to do that. Hey, you should build your profile to make money. Hey, you should just do it for the love of the sport. Don't be a fucking sellout. Both are dumb.
I see. Yeah, that makes sense.
Do it or don't.
Yeah.
That's as simple as that.
Yeah, that makes sense. You know, as someone that talks about it a lot, I feel like there's major advantages to doing it. That's why I'm like, I guess maybe I should rephrase it instead of you shouldn't, to like, these are the major advantages of it. It's a relatively untapped potential or market that I think would offer real opportunities to people. That I've seen time and time again. You are 100% right. Athletes that are very good can sometimes just get a shot. But in my experience, the marketing side of things sways.
Some people can't build profiles because they've got the fucking personality of a brick wall. Like, don't put that guy in front of a camera, you know?
Yeah.
Or don't put the dude in front of a camera who, okay, maybe you just build him through words, you know? Maybe there's other ways to build him. People know my gym and they know that I am big about building profiles, but I don't force anyone to do anything.
Yeah.
If they don't want to, it's no problem. If they do, well, I give them tools and teach them ways to do it. But it's like, yeah, that sponsorship, I feel like that's a big one, because I see people fucking bicker and moan and bitch and moan about it on either side. On the flip side of it, yes, there is a strong correlation between building a profile and things like making more money. If you want to make more money through the sport, it's a great way to do it. Don't shoot me, but that's just, it's just a statement.
Yeah, it's not the only way, but it is in my experience, a very easy way.
It's
easier, more sure path. It's gonna help out.
You can't run a successful business without advertising.
Yeah.
Unless it's a necessity.
Right. I think, that sort of talks a little bit about the two sides of business as well. You have to have a good product. This is where you're a good fighter, and sometimes your product is so good, or you're in the right place at the right time, where you get the big sale, where it sells itself.
Yep.
That is so important.
Yep.
You cannot have like great marketing and a shitty product. That's just, you're gonna run out of business.
Correct. Yeah. You can't. Yeah. I mean, every business has to market.
Yeah. So I think the two go hand in hand a lot.
Absolutely.
Okay, wrapping things up, a little bit of a quiz time. I know you like these. These are from my recent book, Muay Thai, The Complete Guide to Training, Fighting, and Business. So let's test your Thai knowledge.
Oh, fuck.
Okay? We'll see. Okay, Kum game. Kum game. No?
What do you want me to do? I don't know.
Okay, you define it. Do you know what?
Game?
Kum game.
Oh, kum.
Yeah.
No idea. Control the game. Oh, okay. Control the game.
Yeah. Okay, let's maybe drop down a level. Okay. ไม่ยอมแพ้
Something about losing.
Yeah, don't surrender.
Don't surrender.
Yeah. So
yom. What's yom?
Yom is to yield, or so
okay.
ไม่ยอมแพ้ is like don't like yield and
don't yield and surrender.
Yeah,
don't give up.
Don't give up. So คนไม่ยอมคนไม่ยอมคน the man who no yield to man. Kon Mayom Kon is Seksan or Kwan Muing's name.
It's my dude.
Yep. Okay. We'll do two more.
Fuck, man.
Let's see. Mala Nua.
Something. Mala.
Okay.
No.
Ma.
Yeah.
La.
Yeah.
Nua.
Beef. Yeah.
Yep.
So what's the la? Mala Nua. Mala Nua. Something about. Oh.
5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, it's hunting dogs. So la is to hunt.
Oh.
So the dogs hunt for meat. Ma la nua. So it talks about like fighters will just fight for money basically. And like, oh, you're good. Oh, Ratang, you're good now. Like you get a lot of meat, you're good. Then you can't do it anymore. You're tossed off.
Mala Nua.
Yeah, you're a hunting dog that is sort of forced to retire.
Mala Nua.
Yeah.
Mala Nua.
That talks specifically about sort of the economics of fighting out here.
On fighting in Thailand, man.
Yeah, on fighting in Thailand.
The slang.
Yeah. Okay.
That's fun.
ไม่มีเดิมพัน ไม่ต้องพัน
ไม่มีเดิมพันไม่ต้องพันมือ
What's that one mean?
If there's no side bet, like no fight, like why fight if there's no side bet?
All right.
ไม่มีเดิมพันไม่ต้องพันมือ
All right. Well, thank you so much, Kieran, for the excellent lesson. Tell us where people can follow along with you.
Instagram, Kieran Muay U. Instagram, Muay U Canberra. Follow all of my athletes, past and present. David Penampi, Gabriel De Ramos, Max McVicker, Diandra Martin, Davina Martin, and everyone else. You know, they're all in different phases of their career and here, there, and everywhere, but they're all doing amazing things. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much.